Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Fanadian here. I'd like to welcome you guys all to another video. And today I'm just going to be talking about what were my favorite Miami Dolphins moves from this offseason. So I guess going from when the season ended up until now, covering free agency and the draft. Just what are my favorite moves that the team made, starting with what I think is probably the best and biggest move that they made, and that is signing Will Fuller. And there's multiple reasons why, with the main one just being he's going to fill and fix the biggest hole and weakness that offense had, which is a lack of a deep threat target. PFF has him as one of the top 5 deep threat targets in the NFL, and he's going to really help elevate this offense. Similarly, I feel like too, the way Stephon Diggs helped elevate the Bills offense last year and really helped out Josh Allen when it came to the deep ball. I think adding Will Fuller is going to help Tua with his deep ball throwing a lot. He's going to be able to get those yak yards, which is something we were missing, and I think he's going to really give this offense a big boost. One of the other things that I love about this move is the contract they gave him is just absolutely perfect. The 1 year, $10 million prove yourself deal, because the thing with Will Fuller is when he has been on the field, he has been great. Last year was his best year, but he hasn't been on the field all the time because he has had injury concerns, and he did get suspended for PEDs last season. So being on this 1 year contract, he's going to be able to come in here and prove himself. Hey, without the use of, illegal substances, I can stay healthy and ball out. And then if he doesn't ball out, then whatever, he was just on a 1 year deal. We move on. The Dolphins could sign another wide receiver or draft another guy next year. But also the thing with his contract is they do have the option to franchise tag him. So if he does play really good and proves himself, the Dolphins can franchise him and then work out a new contract with him, or just keep him on the tag. Or even if something happens where he does ball out and they're not able to re-sign him, the team will get a compulsory pick for Will Fuller. So that is another huge bonus to this deal. I think another good thing about this deal is, and a lot of fans I think view, this saved the offseason for him, because at the start of free agency, when the Patriots were just going and spending big bucks, I think a lot of fans thought the Dolphins would be doing the same thing, and they were getting absolutely pissed. I was seeing people saying on, the Dolphins subreddit, we need to fire Chris Greer. I was seeing people saying we need to fire Coach Flores and just completely tear it down because the team's not spending a ton of money at the start of free agency. And then once they went and made this Will Fuller deal, this just kind of shut everybody up, and they stopped talking silly, and then all of a sudden all the Greer haters went away, and you started seeing all the supporters show up again. So that was just really nice as a fan, because it just got rid of me having to see all the baloney on the Twitter timeline. And also, I just think this guy's going to combo great with Jalen Waddle, and he's going to be a good mentor for him, and be able to teach him how to be a proper NFL deep threat. So really nice signing. A next move here we got here was during the draft, and that is taking the risk on Jalen Phillips. And the reason why is I just think this guy's potential just greatly outweighs the concerns of the injuries. This guy, if it wasn't for the concussions, normally would have been a top 5 draft pick. The Dolphins got him at 18, and I feel like he has a chance to be one of those great draft day steals where everyone's just I can't believe we didn't draft this guy. You always see Dolphins fans all the time being upset about how we didn't draft TJ Watt and we got Charles Harris instead. So hopefully this is the chance for the Dolphins to redeem themselves with this Jalen Phillips signing. I have heard him described as being a TJ Watt, Chase Young hybrid, so maybe he can be that long-awaited edge rusher we've been waiting for. We really needed an edge rusher. Rushing the passer was one of the Dolphins' defense's, I feel biggest weaknesses, right? They could only generate pressure while blitzing. Jalen Phillips should help a lot with that, and I think he's going to ball out. And I'm not the only one that thinks that, because if you look at the sports books right now, he's either first or second for every single one for being defensive rookie of the year, because he is a stud, he is an athlete, and he is going to be in a great situation with this team where he's going to be able to prove himself and show hey, I am a top football player. You don't have to worry about these concerns. I even seen some people saying does this guy really love football, because he did have to take some time off. If it wasn't for this injury, he wouldn't have stopped playing at all. And I think the fact that he battled back from this injury and kept playing just shows how much he actually does love football. And if you listen to this guy talk, you can tell this is a football guy. He's a serious guy, and he's going to try his best to do his best for the team. So really excited to see Jalen Phillips play. Another move we'll go on here is one that I think a lot of people might not have in their top off-season moves, but this is one that I really liked, and that was signing Jason McCourty. And the reason why I like the Jason McCourty signing is it is just really hard to put a value on experience. And I think having these experienced vets, when you have a really young team full of a lot of rookies and guys going into their second year, it's really important to have these veteran players there to like help teach these players and show them how to be a proper NFL player and establish the culture. And that's something I think McCourty can do great. He did talk about one of the reasons why he came to Miami is because he wants to help teach these young guys. He saw how many young talented DBs this team has. We got even more that we drafted, and he's going to help be a really great teacher for these guys and culture setter, and just show them like, hey, this is how you got to be a top NFL player. Because even if you're like, this guy was never really a top player, he's been in the league for a decade, right? And you do not play in the league for that long without knowing how to be a good NFL player, how to prepare yourself, how to train properly, how to take care of your body, and so on and so on. And just be that veteran leader presence is super huge for the team, right? It's really hard to like put a value on just how important that is. Also, I just like the signing because after they released Bobby McCain, if they didn't bring in another safety, I would have been really nervous just going in with the young guys. Even though I believe in them, I just like having this veteran guy there where if Holland needs a couple games to readjust to playing in the NFL, or if there is a freak injury, we will have McCourty there ready to go. He played with Brian Flores in New England. He was directly coached by Brian. He fits the defense really well as a corner safety hybrid, so I really have no worries if we got to put him out there. He will go out there and perform, so I feel like a pretty nice underrated signing right there. The next thing I'm going to talk about isn't just one individual thing. It's move. It's something they've done throughout the course of the whole offseason, and that is just invest in offensive line depth. I cannot stress how important it is to have good O-line depth because it is almost impossible to make it through the full season with at least one O-line injury, right? You got 5 guys. They're the biggest guys on your team. They're never going out of the game. They're in there every single play, and they're just battling constantly with other big, strong dudes. And it's super easy for guys to roll on their ankles, just fall the wrong way, tear something when you're that big. So having good depth who could go in there and step in is huge. We saw last year the Dolphins had multiple injuries and we didn't really have super good depth to go in there and replace these guys, and the O-line really struggled this year, right? So that's why after they drafted Liam Eichenberg, I was super happy to see them take Larnell Coleman later in the draft. You then see them go after Robert Jones, the undrafted free agent. Usually undrafted free agents, right, get like $60,000 contracts. They gave him double that, which just shows how much they like this guy. They even brought in a couple of veteran guys like DJ Fluker from the Ravens who could play multiple positions, and Jermaine Illuminor from the Patriots. These are both guys that could play both inside and outside and fill out wherever they're needed. Having this depth is also just going to create way more competition at training camp, which is going to be huge because the more competition you have, it just means the harder these guys got to train, and it's just going to help develop better, more battle-tested offensive linemen. And with this 17th game season we're going into now, you're going to really need to have the depth, I think, more too now, because this extra game I feel like will probably lead to some more injuries, or just maybe we might even see some old offensive linemen get rested. We don't really know how the extended season's really going to affect things. And yeah, having more O-line depth is going to be huge, especially because as we all watched last year, like I mentioned, there was multiple injuries, so having these guys step in will be really nice. And I really want to see this team have a good O-line, and this year I feel like they're going to have a better chance, right? Like last year, they needed everything to go right if they wanted to have a good O-line. They needed all 3 rookies to come in and play great. They needed Ted Karras to come in and play great, and then they needed Eric Flowers to come in and play great, which all those things didn't really happen. But now, if some things go wrong, where I feel like if one of the rookies needs some more time to develop, or maybe one of the guys from last year doesn't really, take that big leap, we have enough contingency plans, I guess you could say, where if things don't always go right, the O-line will still be okay. So that's just another nice thing about having the depth. And, I gave you 4 things. YouTube's all about top 5s and stuff, so I'll give you a 5th option just real quick here. I guess a 5th move I really liked, and that was draft and safety Javon Holland. If you want to know why I love this pick so much, go watch my what rookie am I the most excited for video. So I won't get too in-depth into it just because I've already made a whole video talking about this guy, but just some of the things I like about this guy is he's just the perfect fit for this team. I think it's just one of those, you get that perfect draft pick in just the optimal situation where they'll be able to succeed. I just love this guy's attitude and what he's about. He's a really good player, And as a lot of you guys know, I am a Canadian Miami Dolphins fan. Javon Holland is the highest drafted Canadian player in the history of the NFL, so I'm really rooting for this guy, and I'm really happy to see that he's a Dolphin, and if he does ball out, you'll definitely see me wearing some Javon Holland jerseys in these videos. And those are just my favorite offseason moves. Why don't you guys let me know what were your favorite? I bet there's a lot of Jalen Waddle fans out there. You know, maybe it was one of the other free agents they signed. Maybe it was even given a player an extension. Let me know in the comments. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more Dolphins content. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.